Hawaii is a real geological and economic paradox. Behind its image as an exotic tropical island chain, these volcanic islands hold traces of lost settlements and places now racing against time to avoid being erased from the map. Life here is fully shaped by two main forces: unpredictable volcanic landscapes and the collapse of the sugar and pineapple industries that once supported thousands of families. Yes, tidal waves, lava flows, economic crises, and modern tragedies have changed settlement landscapes across the islands. Here are the stories of 15 locations in Hawaii that have become complete ghost towns, along with areas slowly moving in that direction. The landscape here presents an extremely dramatic scene. Wide stretches of black basalt rock with the remains of road signs sticking out from beneath solid lava. In April 1990, lava from Mount Kilauea moved slowly but steadily toward the coastal settlement, once known for its beautiful black sand beach. Kalapana residents could only watch as their homes, roads, and memories were swallowed by molten rock hotter than 1,000 degrees Celsius. More than 120 homes were destroyed in this disaster. This town did not decay with time, but was locked beneath 75 feet of solid lava rock. Visiting today, you will find a strange and unique phenomenon. Some emergency stilt house structures have been built by locals directly on top of the new lava ground. They refuse to move far from their homeland, creating a tiny settlement that looks isolated above a black stone desert. After the total destruction of Kalapana, the same volcanic force also moved east. Kapoho was once a popular seaside retreat in the Puna district. The area was known for its warm natural tide pools, rich with coral reefs, as well as Green Lake, a sacred freshwater crater lake. But during Kilauea's major eruption in mid-2018, a new volcanic fissure opened near the settlement and sent a massive, fast-moving river of lava forward. Within days, Kapoho's entire coastline changed completely. More than 500 homes were destroyed. Green Lake evaporated within hours, and the bay was filled with volcanic material that now forms barren new land. Nothing remains of this settlement except ash, collective trauma, and traces of graffiti. Recent drone footage shows a vast rock field with not a single old building left, making it a total ghost town in the blink of an eye. The shift from a very lively town into a silent zone of grief feels especially heavy here. Lahaina played an important role in Hawaii's long history as a former capital of the Hawaiian Kingdom, a 19th century whaling center, and later a major tourism hub on Maui. But the massive fire in August 2023 changed everything drastically. The brush fire, driven by strong winds from Hurricane Dora, consumed this historic downtown, killing more than 100 people and leaving behind rusted debris and scorched ground. Lahaina today is a modern ghost town in a period of existential crisis. Many areas are still fenced off, tightly guarded, and declared restricted zones. The main reasons this town risks permanently losing its original population are the high cost of rebuilding, deep trauma, and the threat of gentrification, pushing local residents into an exodus off the island. We now move to an isolated peninsula on the island of Molokai. The Kalaupapa Peninsula sits at the base of some of the world's tallest sea cliffs, rising 3,000 feet above it. Its extreme geographic isolation means the place can only be reached by small commuter plane or by a steep mule trail down the cliffs. Starting in 1866, this natural isolation was used by the government to forcibly exile thousands of people with leprosy, or Hansen's disease, in an effort to stop its spread. Under figures like Father Damien, the exiled patients built a self-sufficient community with hospitals, churches, stores, and large cemeteries that now fill the landscape. Although the isolation law was lifted in 1969, Many patients chose to stay because they felt the outside world no longer accepted them. With the passing of the last resident or patient in this settlement in 2020, Kalaupapa officially became an administrative ghost town. Today, it is managed as a very quiet national historical park, where rows of old wooden buildings stand empty facing the open ocean. Still on Molokai, this small town in the western highlands of the island originally grew as a company town. Maunaloa was built in the early 20th century to house hundreds of pineapple plantation workers and ranch workers employed by Molokai Ranch. For decades, the town had a stable economic pulse, with a movie theater, grocery store, and elementary school. The economic disaster came in March 2008, when Molokai Ranch suddenly announced the complete shutdown of all its business operations on the island because of chronic financial losses and land regulation conflicts. That decision left most residents jobless overnight. Today, Maunaloa presents an unusually intact post-industrial ghost town scene. Rows of plantation-style wooden houses stand empty with boarded-up windows. Nearby hotels and golf courses are covered in brush, and the main road is almost never crossed by traffic. If Maunaloa was abandoned because of corporate crisis, a legendary valley on the Big Island lost its population because of a giant wave from the ocean. Waipio Valley is one of Hawaii's most sacred and remote places, surrounded by 2,000-foot vertical cliffs covered in dense rainforest vegetation. The access road to the valley floor is one of the steepest roads in the world, with a grade reaching 25%. In the 19th century, this fertile river valley was home to around 10,000 native Hawaiians who grew taro and built a prosperous settlement. Its turning point came on April 1st, 1946, when a powerful tsunami triggered by an earthquake in the Aleutian Islands struck Waipio's coast. A 30-foot wave flooded the entire valley floor, destroying the church, school, homes, and damaging the agricultural irrigation system. Most surviving residents fled to higher ground and refused to return. Today, Waipio has shifted into a semi-ghost town with fewer than 50 active residents living without adequate modern facilities. The impact of the 1946 tsunami also destroyed an important port town on the southern coast. Located along the southern shoreline of the Big Island, the Honuapo area has now been integrated into Whittington Beach Park. In the early to mid-20th century, Honuapo was a very busy port town. The town was completely crippled after its dock infrastructure was destroyed by the tsunami. That severe damage was made worse by the shift to land-based trucking for logistics, which caused the port to lose its function. The surrounding sugar plantations also slowly shut down. Visual footage from this location shows giant iron dock pilings rising from the shoreline, badly rusted by salt water, standing as silent monuments to a maritime industry that has completely died. Meanwhile, unlike the previous town, Pahala was not destroyed by a sudden natural disaster. Instead, it is going through chronic population decentralization and economic decline. This small town in the Kau district was originally established as the operations center of the Hawaiian Agricultural Company, a giant sugarcane plantation company that once formed the economic backbone of the southern region. When Hawaii's sugar industry fully collapsed in the mid-1990s after losing against international competition, Pahala lost its main reason to exist. The town's decline is very clear in its current physical condition. Many old wooden stilt houses from the colonial era have been left to decay without maintenance. Most downtown shops are permanently closed, and the young population keeps shrinking as they move to larger cities like Hilo or Honolulu in search of work. Pahala now moves at a very slow rhythm, approaching the status of a dead town. Then, its neighboring town on the Big Island is threatened with abandonment because of constant geological tension. Pahoa is a busy town, but its residents are forced to live in a state of permanent uncertainty. This small town, known for its wooden front porch architecture resembling old Western cowboy towns, sits directly on the East Rift Zone of Mount Kilauea, one of the highest lava flow risk areas on the island. In mid-2014, the psychological tension among residents reached its peak when a thick lava flow moved very slowly toward downtown Pahoa for months. The lava burned several homes on the edge of town, buried a local cemetery, and threatened to cut off the main highway that served as the town's logistical lifeline. Although the lava flow finally stopped only a few meters from the town fire station, the event left deep trauma behind. A similar geological tension also surrounds this place. From the name alone, we can probably sense it. Sitting at an elevation of nearly 4,000 feet above sea level, Volcano Village is a unique settlement surrounded by giant fern forests and dense ohia trees. The village is often covered in thick fog and has much cooler temperatures than Hawaii's coastal areas. Its main economic foundation depends entirely on tourism, driven by Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. The village's vulnerability became clear during Kilauea's major eruption in 2018. Thousands of volcanic earthquakes damaged the foundations of residents' homes, broke clean water tanks, and toxic sulfur dioxide pollution covered the settlement for months. The closure of the national park for more than 130 days instantly shut down local inns, restaurants, and art galleries. From the threat of magma on the Big Island, we move to the northern coast. Honokaa stands along the Hamakua coast, with Old Town architecture that contrasts sharply with the tropical forest around it. During the peak of the sugar industry, Honokaa became the second largest trade town on the Big Island, serving as an entertainment center for thousands of plantation workers with facilities like the Grand Honokaa People's Theater, built in 1930. The town's decline began when Hamakua Sugar Company permanently ended operations in 1994. Since then, Honokaa has faced severe economic stagnation. Although its main street is still preserved to attract history-minded visitors, areas beyond the commercial strip show clear signs of urban decay. Large logistics warehouses, sugarcane rail workshops, and worker housing complexes now sit abandoned, covered in rust and slowly buried by wild vegetation, marking the continued decline of its active population. Kekaha presents a very different view from Kauai's famous green and fertile image. This area is dry, windy, and isolated at the far western end of the island. For more than a century, almost every aspect of social life and infrastructure in Kekaha was controlled by the Kekaha Sugar Company. When the sugar company shut down in 2000, the town's economic engine died completely. The giant old sugar processing factory, with its tall black smokestack, now stands abandoned in town as a monument to industrial failure. Its location far from Kauai's main resort and tourism centers makes it difficult for Kekaha to diversify its economy. Local schools have seen student numbers drop sharply, public facilities are beginning to close, and the town is slowly turning into a quiet settlement at risk of being fully abandoned by its younger generation. If Kekaha struggles to attract outside interest, Hanapepe is now often promoted as a charming art town, filled with painting galleries, craft shops, and an iconic wooden swinging bridge. But behind that colorful tourism facade, Hanapepe is an old town carrying deep historical wounds, including the Hanapepe Massacre of 1924, a bloody clash between striking Filipino workers and security forces that killed 20 people. What places Hanapepe among towns at risk of becoming ghost towns is its monostructured dependence on microtourism. The town no longer has a strong basic industry or agricultural sector after the plantation era ended. Its pulse is practically alive only for a few hours on Friday nights when the weekly art festival is held. When global tourism declines, Hanapepe's streets become quiet again, and empty shops reveal how fragile the town is, with the risk of returning to the dead town condition it faced in the 1980s. Dependence on one single controller is also the main threat to the stability of a unique town on Lanai. Located in the island's highlands, Lanai City has an urban layout that is very unusual for Hawaii. The town was designed with a very orderly street grid, surrounded by thousands of Norfolk pines and filled with rows of uniform wooden stilt houses built in the 1920s by James Dole for the pineapple industry. For years, this town housed thousands of workers who produced 75% of the world's pineapple supply. But pineapple production completely ended in 1992 because operating costs were no longer competitive. The town's fate changed drastically in 2012 when a tech billionaire bought 98% of all land ownership on Lanai, including the Lanai City residential area. The town is threatened not by physical poverty, but by the loss of local sovereignty. Life in Lanai City is now artificially controlled to fit a luxury resort ecosystem, making it highly vulnerable to being emptied or repurposed at any time based on the policies of that single private owner. From the orderliness of private Lanai City, we move to the last outpost of traditional civilization on the Big Island, struggling to survive without basic modern facilities. Maloli sits in isolation along the South Kona coast, resting on dry, barren lava flows and facing the open waters of the Pacific Ocean. It is widely recognized as one of Hawaii's last traditional fishing villages, still preserving its ancient way of life. The community is very small, made up of only a few dozen families. The main reason Maloli belongs on the list of places at risk of abandonment is its extreme infrastructure isolation. This settlement has never been connected to the public electric grid or government clean water pipes. To carry out daily life, residents depend entirely on noisy gasoline generators, limited independent solar panel systems, and rainwater catchment tanks that often run dry during the dry season. Because of limited healthcare, education, and job opportunities outside traditional fishing, Maloli's younger generation continues to leave the village, leaving elders behind in a harsh coastal landscape that could disappear as a living community in the coming decades. In the end, these 15 locations in Hawaii give us a deeply reflective new perspective on the existence of a civilization. Prosperity, population density, and the physical presence of a settlement on volcanic islands are never absolute or permanent, whether through instant destruction caused by flowing magma and tsunami waves, or slow erosion caused by the collapse of the plantation economy. These towns prove how thin the line can be between a dynamic living space and the silence of a ghost town. On these islands, nature, time, and the forces of each era always find their own way to reclaim what human hands once built.